The Singing Sparrow, the sound in the morning. Every morning before the sun rose, a soft song floated through the small village. It came from a sparrow that perched on the same branch outside a wooden house. The sparrow's tune was simple, gentle, hopeful, and full of life. Inside that house lived Aidan, a humble carpenter, and his little daughter Lila. Life had not been kind to them. Aidan's wife had passed away when Lila was only 3, and ever since, he had carried the weight of both father and mother on his shoulders. Their home was small, their meals simple, but there was warmth in the way they lived. Every morning while Aidan prepared for work, Lila would listen to the sparrow's song from the window. "Papa," she would say, her eyes bright, "it's singing again." "It sounds happy," Aidan smiled faintly. "Yes, my dear. Maybe it's reminding us to start the day with hope." That sparrow became their morning friend. Rain or shine, it sang, sometimes softly, sometimes cheerfully. Even on the hardest days when work was slow and Aidan had to borrow rice from the neighbor, that little song seemed to tell him, "Don't give up." The storm. One year heavy rains came early. The river beside their village flooded, sweeping through the farmlands and damaging homes. Aidan's workshop was destroyed. His tools rusted, his wood was soaked, and for weeks he couldn't find any work. Lila saw her father sitting quietly each night, staring at his calloused hands. "Papa," she whispered one evening, "will you fix the workshop?" He sighed. "I will, my little bird. But it takes time. Money doesn't come easy." The next morning, the singing sparrow did not appear. The tree was empty, and the air was silent. Lila waited by the window all day, but no song came. She grew worried. "Papa, the sparrow is gone." Aidan looked outside. Gray skies, cold wind. "Maybe it's hiding from the storm," he said softly. Days turned into weeks, and still the sparrow didn't return. The silence felt heavy. Without that tiny song, mornings felt dull and lifeless. Aidan tried to stay strong, but inside his heart was breaking. One night when Lila was asleep, Aidan sat alone outside. The sky was clear again, stars glowing faintly. He looked toward the empty branch and whispered, "If only I had the sparrow's courage to sing again." The voice of courage. A month passed. Slowly, Aidan rebuilt his workshop using leftover wood. He fixed broken tools one at a time. Work came back, slowly but surely. One morning, as he sawed through a piece of timber, he heard it, a familiar tune outside. Lila ran out, shouting joyfully, "Papa, the sparrow, it's back." Aidan dropped his saw and looked up. There it was, the tiny brown sparrow singing louder than ever. Its feathers were ruffled, but its voice was bright and fearless. Lila clapped her hands. It came back even after the storm. Aidan smiled, a tear forming in his eye. "Yes, my love. That's what brave hearts do. They come back no matter how strong the storm." From that day, Aidan began to work with a new strength. Each nail he hammered carried faith. Each plank he lifted carried hope. The sparrow sang every morning as if reminding him, "You can rise again." Lessons from the sparrow. Years passed. Lila grew into a smart, kind young woman. Their home was rebuilt, stronger and brighter than before. Aidan's workshop became known throughout the village. People admired his craftsmanship, but those who knew his story admired his heart even more. One morning as they had breakfast together, the sparrow sang again on the branch. Lila smiled. "Papa, do you think it's the same one?" Aidan chuckled. "Maybe not the same bird, But maybe it's the same spirit, the same song that never leaves us. Then he said something Lila never forgot. Life will always test you, my child. Sometimes the storms will silence your song. But when you find the courage to sing again, even softly, that's when your spirit becomes unbreakable. The last song. Years later, when Aiden grew old and weak, he could no longer work. Lila, now a teacher, cared for him tenderly. Every morning she opened the window, hoping to hear that same familiar sound. On the last morning of his life, Aiden lay in bed, sunlight touching his face. The sparrow song drifted through the air again, gentle and clear. Leela smiled through her tears. "Papa," she whispered, "it's singing again." Aiden's eyes opened slightly. He smiled faintly and said, "Keep listening, my love. The world never stops singing, even when we can't." He closed his eyes peacefully as the sparrow's melody filled the room. And in that song, the same song that once gave them hope, Lila felt her father's love live on. From that day, whenever she faced hardship, she would close her eyes, hear the sparrow's tune in her heart, and remember her father's words. Even after the storm, the song returns. The Singing Sparrow is not just a story about a bird. It's about the music of resilience, the bond between a father and child, and the truth that no matter how broken life feels, there is always a song waiting to be sung again.